Oh, okay. Yeah, YouTube people. Hey, good morning. You kind of missed I did this whole little intro bit, but that's okay. I'm not going to do it again. I'll just catch you next time. Apparently, with YouTube, you have to be like on the page as it's going live, and then it will go live. So, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Over on YouTube, we're live on YouTube and Instagram. And yes, if you're just joining me on YouTube, welcome. My name is Adam. This is RC with Adam, and this is our Q&A session time where we get to troubleshoot together, and you get you some real help from a real person in real time for your RC drone 3D printing stuff that you got going on. And in the meantime, in between that, if we don't have any questions or whatever, it was just going to be me kind of riffing on stuff, talking about stuff, maybe some new stuff that's happening and whatnot, things like that, and or perhaps topics that we have been discussing previously. In fact, let's go. Let me share my screen with you. I'm just kidding. Let me share my screen with you. Let's see. There we go. And we had a question. I guess I should pull up the question somehow. Yeah, it was about a Betaflight compass thing. We'll talk about that in just a moment. This is what we talked about our last time that we were together. This is the Centauri Carbon, and this was brought to my attention by some of the viewers in the chat, and I was like, "Whoa! I didn't know that this existed." This looks like a super good 3D printer for the money. As long as you don't want to do multi-filament or like multi-color printing, like with an AMS system, because this one currently does not support a multi-filament system. But it's a full-size printer bed. It's basically, from what I can tell, it's basically like the Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon, or perhaps like the P2S. Well, no, the X1 Carbon, because this one, they're advertising it that it has a hardened nozzle and all that stuff so that you can print with those abrasive materials like carbon fiber. So I just thought that was cool. And that's kind of what I like to kick things off with, because a lot of times people are like, hey, what's the best 3D printer for the money? And right now it's kind of looking like this guy right here. So, and of course, if you have any questions about, let me know if the audio is not coming through properly or anything like that. Sometimes those kinks can pop up. We got a question from Vishal Gorgorov 8378 over on YouTube. He says, "Hi Adam, can you suggest me some RC printer that just works good and not very expensive?" No, he says he means 3D printer. Yeah, well, we're looking at it right now, right here. Now, granted, I have not tried this 3D printer personally. I don't have personal experience with this 3D printer. We're looking at the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, but I noticed that it was, I guess, on sale for $279, and that is like, because it's cheaper than the Bamboo Lab A1, which that is what I have been saying. Like, hey, if you like my kind of go-to, kind of just like generic, like if you want a 3D printer, you know, and you have like, let's say $300, what should you get? Bamboo Lab A1. Then there's the A1 Mini, but I think you might end up growing out of that pretty quickly, and it has a very small print bed, and it's not even $100 less than the A1, than the full-size A1. And then there's the Creality Sparks i7, and I have not tried this one either, but you can tell it looks very similar to the Bamboo Lab A1. But all of these ones, what they have in common is they're called like bed slingers, and so the print bed, actually moves around. So the print itself is going to move back and forth on that y-axis, so basically forwards and backwards, and it's not enclosed. However, they do offer the ability to do like the multi-filament, multi-spool printing. But if we look at the Elegoo, this one has an enclosure. It's very much like the X1 Carbon. It seems to be very well made. it uses what they call the Core XY design. So the print bed only moves up and down. So you're a lot less likely to knock over your prints, which is a big benefit. So that said, right now, aside from like, I haven't personally used this, or actually I haven't watched any in-depth reviews either on the Centauri Carbon, but on paper, the Centauri Carbon looks like a super great option. If I was getting a printer of that variety for that price point, that's what I would get next. Kind of just to try it out. Dan, somebody, Fark, FPV, over on Instagram is over there. So hi, hello there, welcome. You've just joined the Q&A hour with RC with Adam. We're going to be talking about drones and RC and 3D printing. And if you have questions or need help, leave it in the chat. We're live on YouTube and Instagram. You might be able to hear that I've been having a little bit of a cold, and it is still lingering. You know how colds love to linger. They just love that. So that's what's going on. But it'll be okay. So that's why I wasn't here yesterday, because I was not having a great day yesterday. Not a good day to be in front of a microphone. All right, let me try and pull up this question here. We had a question from a viewer, and I'm going to try and find it here. Where is it? There was a troubleshooting question. Oh boy, that's hard to find. Okay, let's look here. Post. I think it was a comment on a post, and let's take a look at the comments on there. No, that wasn't it. I'm still looking for it. I'm trying to answer a question that a viewer had. Maybe it was the last live stream, actually. Perhaps it was. You know, in retrospect, I probably should have gotten this ready beforehand, huh? And Vishal on YouTube, you're welcome. It is my pleasure. Let's see here. Nope. I'm gonna find it because I was like, oh yeah, we'll do that on the next one. Yeah, okay. In retrospect, I should have screenshotted it and then just saved it for later. Just put it in my little pocket and saved it for later. So okay, that's weird. All right, let's do this. Vishal says, also, can you suggest me a TX RX? I am new to this. Vishal, what do you want to do? What do you want to fly? You want to fly drones, like quadcopters? You want to fly RC airplanes? What are you looking to get into? That wasn't it. Okay. All right, let's do this. We go here. We go here. Still looking. Here we go. Oh, I found it. My goodness. All right. There we go. Okay, my goodness. Sorry for the delay there. That was quite quite the time. All right, so all right, Vishal says quadcopters, those UAV types. Yeah, so if you're looking for a TX RX combination, I'll be the first to tell you there's been a lot of new stuff out there, but let me just tell you what I personally use and would probably recommend, and like what I really like. I have the Radio Master Pocket. Yeah, the Radio Master Pocket. And what I would get, actually, I think this is what I have. I would get the ELRS version, and I would get the ELRS receivers. So ELRS is basically like an open source protocol for radio control. And so what's cool about that is that, well, in this case, it would be built into your transmitter, so you wouldn't need to have any like extra module that connects on the back. You can put a module of some kind in there if you want to like extend the range or use a different radio protocol, but it's already built in, which is cool. And then you can get an ELRS receiver. Now, full disclosure, I haven't gotten into ELRS yet because I've just been using Crossfire, TBS Crossfire, because I wanted because pretty much I just wanted the same protocol across the board, and I wanted Crossfire because they've been known to have like very reliable connection and long range connection. But ELRS is what I've seen. It can be just as reliable as Crossfire. So that is what I would do personally. I mean, these guys are, let's see, this one's $64, but I think you can get some that are coming in even less money dollars. But I'd check that out. It's weird. Yep, so that's what I do. As far as specifics on the ELRS receiver, I don't have a suggestion for you at this moment because I am not super familiar with the ELRS receivers, but maybe somebody in the chat will have an idea. Oh yeah, so let me do this. Let me grab this, go over here, go to here, put that over there, do that, boom, boom. All right, so let's see. Sunny Yang Hom says, bro, any upcoming giveaway for a high-end PC, laptop, or iPhone? Please let us know. No, absolutely not. There's zero upcoming giveaways for those kinds of things. That's not really what we do here on this channel, and yeah, nah. So nope, none of those. Not planning on any of those in the future. So let me. Oh yes, that's right. So our first question comes from FPV 5245. Says, I've been trying to catch your lives, but they're always while I am working. Well, that's unfortunate. I have a question about hooking up a HGLRC M100 compass, M100 GPS with compass. The GPS works, but no matter the settings, the compass will not work in Betaflight. Any insight? All right, so it's a HGLRC M100 GPS with compass. So we're talking about GPS stuff. So first of all, if anybody's watching this and like, oh yeah, I know the answer to that, like feel free to shout it out, because I am not familiar with the HGLRC M100 compass. GPS, oh my gosh, I'm probably gonna keep calling it a compass. Anyway, so what I did is basically like look this up, and typically when something isn't working with drones, you pretty much you want to check, like, is it broken? Is it not working because something's broken, or is it just not set up correctly? So one thing I would look at is like how to set up and calibrate magnetometer, aka a compass, in Betaflight. Let's open that tab. different, like maybe this one. And so a lot of times, I'm just doing simple stuff. I'm looking this stuff up, and I'm doing this to show you guys to help you guys learn how to like troubleshoot things, because it's not really super complicated. I'm not some kind of genie or wizard, but it's just easy to overlook stuff, or it's hard to know where to even find information in the first place. Also, we're talking about Betaflight HGLRC M100. Let's get more specific. And here's some stuff. Sometimes the AI stuff can be really helpful. So like here's the search assistant. And it's like, it doesn't always have like the right answers, but it can really be helpful for like generating ideas. So just this, for example, the I2C communication problems, I2C errors, and then conflict with other sensors, firmware compatibility, magnetometer settings, correct wiring, soldering issues, connections, firmware, blah, 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 test components. It looks like there's a lot of info about this. I don't know if I clicked on that one. Let's take a look. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I'm a human. Okay. I think this is the same one. Oh no, it's not. It's a different one. So first of all, let's go to here. Why does this website look weird? There we go. Michael Hollingsworth. Yo. Welcome on the YouTube side. Everybody on Instagram, welcome on Instagram. We are live on Instagram and YouTube. We're talking about drone and 3D printing troubleshooting and help and stuff like that. So if you have questions, leave them in the chat and I will get to them as soon as I can. Right now, we're trying to figure out why a HGLRC M100 GPS with compass would not show up in Betaflight. And it's going to look a little weird on Instagram because we're kind of zoomed in, but on YouTube, it should look just fine. This is from Ha FPV with a question. I've been trying to catch your, says, a question about hooking up HGLRC M100 GPS with compass. The GPS works great, but no matter the settings, the compass will not work in Betaflight. Any insight? So what I would say is check out this resource from Oscar Lang, and it's talking about the whole process of setting it up. Because pretty much when something doesn't work, it's like, does it not work because it's broken? And then is it wired correctly? Is it actually set up correctly? This one's more of, this one is more of a general guide. So your GPS module includes a compass. It should have 2 additional pads, SCL and SDA. These are for the I2C. Man, so many letters. Where to mount your magnetometer. So the problem is it's not showing up at all. So it looks like Betaflight setup. It says go to configuration, system configuration, enable magnetometer, save and reboot. And then after rebooting, the magnetometer icon, mag, right there, will show on the top of the configuration light up. If it doesn't, check power and wiring. So it sounds like that's the main issue, is check the power and the wiring. Like maybe the wires are reversed or something. Maybe it's not getting power, although I don't think you'd have to power that one particular part. Yeah, that's what I would look at. Because then it's explaining how you need to set it up, but the issue we're having here is that it's not showing up at all. Yeah. Interesting. Yes, this is something that I am going to get into this year with the compass and the GPS, because I haven't needed to so far, but at this point I really just want to, and it could be very, 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 very helpful for various reasons. Yeah. So there we go. So for high FPV, it looks like you should tune into the live at about the 30-minute mark, I think, and take a look at this. I'd also look at this resource, or no, that's the main resource, and then we were going to look at this as well. Da, 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 da. So we have another person on this forum whose compass is no. This is the GPS is not seen, so that's kind of different because he says the GPS works great. So why wouldn't the compass show up, basically? Okay. Yeah. Also, let's see. I know. Well, this was posted in 2023, which is like a million years ago in drone terms, basically. So that this might not be super helpful, but it seems too easy. A lot of times this AI stuff just like makes it too easy. Oh, let's see here. All right, I got my timer going off because I've got a 3D print going, and I need to change out the filament on it. Let's see. So I am gonna have to take a tiny little break here. I need to check on that. I need to get this figured out. I don't know if I can set that up like that. Let me see here. Let me see here if I can. I've never done this before. Let's see. Let's go here. Camera. Doesn't even look like anything. Whoa. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I was trying to pull up the 3D printer camera, but it's like doing really so slow. The A1 has a terrible camera. Yeah. Weird. That's strange. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. We'll see that. Okay. It might not. All right, hey, I'm back. Check 1 2. Is the mic working? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yep, it looks like it's working. All right, cool. So I am back, and let's see here. We have a question. It's from Michael on YouTube. Says, "What's an entry level?" What is an entry level? It's a great question. It probably is typing the rest, or forgot to type it or something. But hey, everybody, I'm back. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, we've got I don't know, about a half hour or so left of our Q&A question and answer troubleshooting help time with drones, 3D printing, RC aircraft, stuff like that. We were just answering this question of about getting a compass to show up in Betaflight with an HGLRC M100 GPS. And that question was from FPV5254 over on YouTube. We're live on YouTube and Instagram right now. If you have questions, dial 1-800-1-800-1-800. I'm just kidding. That's not a real phone number. Just leave a comment in the comment section or the chat or whatever it is, and I would be happy to answer your questions. Michael Hollingsworth has another question. Says, "Hey, do you print and sell stuff that you print?" Yes, I do. Not through. Well, it depends on what kind of stuff I guess depends on what kind of stuff. But yes, I do. So I have my other business is fun fidgets. Fun fidgets, so fun. And that is, we sell 3D printed fidget toys. So that's primarily what I sell as far as 3D prints. As far as the RC with Adam drone stuff, no, I haven't been making any of those to sell. And we've got looks like a Pradeep Chashanu over on YouTube says, "I am trying to make an indoor flyer 3.5 inch. I am using SpeedyBee F4-5 mini and using MTF01-P, but the position hold is not working. The altitude is." I'm not familiar with that. What is MTF01-P? Is that like a position hold flight controller thingy dingy? Let's see here. What do we got going on? Oh, okay. I got confused. I was looking at the wrong screen. I was like, no, it just stopped on that for some reason. Okay, I just won't pay attention to that one. Cool. So it sounds, and so I think we answered the question for the GPS. The compass not working with the GPS. I would definitely check. I would check the firmware. Like, make sure you have the latest Betaflight firmware. Check the soldering, and make sure you have the settings set up. And it looks like Oscar Lang has a pretty comprehensive guide to do that. So that's what I would check out to answer FPV. So, but now we've got a question about optical flow sensors. So making an indoor flyer 3.5 inch, and what are we looking at here? Let's see. And those are some other forum options. Just in case there's, so there's info. There is info about the GPS there. Okay, it looks like this one, just the wiring was wrong on this particular one because the GPS wasn't working. But in this other case, the GPS is working. It's just that the compass is not working. So let's check. Let me check this out. Let's go to. Let's see. And let me go back over here. So Pradeep Shanu, I think that's how you pronounce your name, over on YouTube. So you're using the SpeedyBee F4-5 Mini. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that. Maybe it's supposed to be F405. And using the MTF01-P. But what is that? Is it this from Miko Air? And also, what operating system or what are you using? Are you using, is this Betaflight or iNav? Okay. So the position hold is not working, but the altitude is working. It's iNav. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Good old Oscar Lang. What's this one? So is this what you have? Is this the sensor from Miko Air? Wow, fancy. That's pretty cool. That's really cool to see that integrated into a more traditional FPV drone. Oh, I know that, dude. That's Dummy 13. On the screen there, pointing to it. That's pretty cool. Optical position. You know, I have not really played around with this optical position stuff, but or optical flow sensors and position hold, but I think it's cool. Can't somebody make a good drone using sensors and all this stuff to, you know, to combat not combat, but to give another option from like the big brand names, you know, especially here in the US. So it's iNav. Optical flow range sensor. Yeah, that is what this is. I guess that was the one. MTF01. Okay. Specifications. Okay. Nice. Wiring diagrams. I like it. Okay. Okay. Have you seen these videos? Have you watched? Yeah, there's these setup videos, optical flow and LiDAR setup tutorials. You say yep. I'm not totally sure what the yep is to, unfortunately, because there's like lag and stuff. So setup for iNav. You need to upgrade to version 7.1.2, which have been tested well. So there's that. So this is the, have you seen this guide from Oscar Lang? He says, watched almost every video available for iNav setup. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I probably should have just said right off the bat, like, I've never used that sensor before or done optical flow stuff. So short answer, I have no idea. But longer answer, we're trying to figure it out together. So you said that it's the position hold is not working, but the altitude is working. So what that means is the drone is like wandering around, but it's staying at the right height. Okay, it's staying at the right height, but it's wandering around. Interesting. Interesting. Optical flow. Position hold. Let's do. What if we just said position hold? Not working. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. We got a question over on the YouTube from Dom. Says, hey, I'm brand new to 3D printing. If I want to build my own multi-nozzle open source printer, is that possible? Short answer, yes. because you can do anything, eventually. Like, it might not be easy. Longer answer, I would not recommend it. Unless you like really want to do that as an experience. Because if you're new to 3D printing, pretty much if you're new to anything, it almost does not make sense to like go build something from scratch. But so it sounds like you're saying you want to build your own multi-nozzle open source printer. So the entire printer. Is it possible? Yes. Do I know how or like have resources? No, not offhand, because I have not tried that. That doesn't. Yeah. If what I would say is like if you want to get into 3D printing, so you can 3D print stuff, get a 3D printer. If you want to do it as like a project to kind of tinker with and like eventually build your own 3D printer, so that you can say you built your own 3D printer, then like go for it. But I don't know of any like kits or anything like that that's available. That's a good question though. Where are we? So we're still looking at why this doesn't work. Position hold not working. That's from Libre Pilot, but it could be a similar reason. Interesting. Let's see what the old search assistant has. Installation impact. Surface mode conflicts. When surface mode is turned off, the MTF-01 may not provide reliable data for maintaining position, especially in flat environments. Does that ring any bells? Pradeep Chanu? As far as surface mode, because like I said, I'm not familiar with all the settings of this one. Yeah, Dom, you're welcome. You are welcome. Because like I don't want to like poo-poo anyone's idea of like, oh, I'm gonna build one myself. Like I definitely don't want it to be like, like that. Like I encourage people to do projects and stuff, but it's just, I've realized at this point, like trying to do something yourself is usually it's like a project in unto itself. So it's just good to know what you're getting into. Let's see. Additional considerations: indoor flying limitations. The MTF-01 may struggle with position hold indoors due to the lack of reliable GPS signals. Consider disabling GPS and relying on barometric and sonar data for better performance. Yeah. Does that sound like anything, Pradeep? That sounds like something to me. That sounds kind of like that. That makes sense. Like maybe like if you are trying to do, welcome back, Olive. If you're trying to use it indoors and you have the GPS turned on, maybe that's a problem. Yeah. So yeah. Any more questions? If you're just joining us, welcome. Welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam. We're doing our Q&A sessions right now. So if you need help with drones, 3D printing, and stuff like that, maybe you're a beginner, you're just getting into it, you want to figure out what is all this stuff about. Now's a great time to ask those questions and get real help from a real person, real fast, in real time. And that's what we like to do here at RC with Adam Industries. So if you're over on Instagram, welcome, or on YouTube, welcome. Leave your questions in the chat, and we're gonna have a good old time. Or even if you don't have questions and you're like, hey, check out this new thing that they came out with, we could be like, all right, cool, we'll check it out. So that's kind of what we do here. And yeah, so we were just talking about trying to figure out why. Pardon me. We're trying to figure out why a position hold would not be working with the Miko Air MTF-01. Dom over on YouTube says, what material do you use for your drone frame and motor mounts? And are they printed? And Olive says something and then retracted it. Cool. So, what material do you use for your drone frame and motor mounts? So I've printed a few drone frames. Pretty much like I would just use well, my first go-to for pretty much everything is 3D Fuel Tough Pro PLA Plus. And but it depends very much on like the drone frame and stuff like that. And as far as motor mounts would, are you talking like for like motor mounts like for airplanes, like RC airplanes? Because typically you don't use motor mounts on like a quadcopter. But yeah, for that as well, I would probably use the Tough Pro PLA Plus or possibly the PCTG. So if we go over to 3D Fuel, yeah, there we go. And full disclosure, like 3D Fuel is like my go-to. So I'm not affiliated with them other than I have an affiliate like coupon code that you can use, and then I get like a small commission off of that. But I just really like them, and they are what I use exclusively for my other 3D printing business. So Tough Pro PLA Plus, it's just super durable, but also like really easy to print with. So with the PLA, you're gonna have like more rigidity, but it's gonna be potentially break more in terms of the impact toughness, as opposed to something like the Pro PCTG that they sell, which is like extra. It's like PETG. They say it's up to 35 times tougher than PETG. But PCTG is going to be more, a little bit more ductile. So it depends on what you're printing and how your frame is structurally designed, or your motor mounts. But it should have a little bit better heat resistance as well. So durability wise, I think PCTG would be the better option. But also, carbon fiber is a lot of what people would print frames out of. And I printed frames, and I don't even remember like what was the end result with that. I should probably check that out.
Welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam. In this video,
let me go to my YouTube channel here. Let's see here. Olaf says, bro, I want that easy power pack, but the shipping cost is too much for you. Yep, I got it. Okay, we'll yep. Let's talk about the giveaway stuff, and I will get back to you via email. So let's go to videos. Let's go to latest videos. So I had this I kind of mothballed this project, but I was doing this project. Where did I start this project? So it was my dual FPV drone, and the idea is that it's a 4-inch or kind of 3.5-inch FPV drone. Here we go. I was testing out different frames that I 3D printed, and I was using carbon fiber because that question comes up a lot about 3D printing frames, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of the answer of like what is the lightest like filament that would work well, or I guess a common question would be like, is carbon fiber filament lighter than other types of filament? But I don't think it is. But in this video, I say that the weight of the frame is about 60 grams, 60 grams. And I think I show other frames that I printed as far as prototyping it. But, carbon fiber is pretty much always better. like, composite carbon fiber, with how drones typically have been made, it's pretty much always better because it's more rigid, it's more durable, and all that stuff. I thought I showed the prototypes, and I thought I had a video where I weighed them all. That's weird. I should have made this a playlist. Hmm. Let me get back here. So Dom says, I appreciate you sharing the knowledge with the channel, bro. Do you have any flight controllers you recommend or for a plug and play experience? When you say flight controllers, are you talking about like FPV drones, like quadcopters? I mean, typically that would be what you'd be talking about, as opposed to, you know, RC airplanes, fixed wing, and stuff like that. Although you could use a flight controller for that as well. But are there any flight controllers that I recommend for plug and play experience? So I mean, we're talking about like building a drone, right? And then also it's going to depend on like what size as well. So again, with building a drone, all right. So Olive asks why I don't reply to your emails. I did reply to your emails, and I'm not going to reply to your emails while I'm on the live because we're doing the live right now. So you're just gonna have to be patient. Dom says yes for FPV drones, the flight controller board, and RCRF combo. Okay, gotcha. For under 249 grams, so sub 250. It's a good question. So here's my thing about this is like, I totally support building your own FPV drone. I think it's a great experience. I think you can learn a ton, and it's like super cool because you built it yourself. However, a lot of times, just like with the 3D printing stuff, it's like if your goal is I want to fly an FPV drone, you should buy an FPV drone because you're gonna have a better experience as far as the flying part. Now, it totally makes sense to be able to take apart your drone and fix it and repair it and know how to do that. But sometimes the building part, like if you have a problem with it, you won't know, like, did I do that? Or did something wrong with the part that I put in? So typically, like if you're just getting started, I recommend you buy probably a micro drone like kit, is what I would suggest. But I know that's kind of like, not what people always want because they're thinking they're going to get like a big drone and like rip it around instantly. Dom says, oh no, I have a drone already. I just don't want to buy another. Oh, I just don't want to buy another avatar. Okay. Avatar. Avata. Oh, Avata. Don't want to buy another Avata. Oh, okay. So do you, so do you have the DJI goggles and everything? The goggles and the transmitter? So you'd basically be looking for like the DJI FPV parts, right? I'm guessing that's what you're saying. Or no, well, because you said the RC and the transmitter and the receiver. Because if you have a if you have the DJI FPV stuff, yeah. So you have the transmitter. You have the transmitter. You'll buy the goggles. Which transmitter do you have? Is it the Is it, well, I was just on there. Is it the controller 3 or is it something else? Because it's going to make a difference as far as like what works together basically. So you have the DJI Pro controller. Okay. All right, so the Pro controller. Let's see. Is that the RC Pro? There's so many different, like their naming system is just crazy. So if it is the RC Pro controller, but you have the Avata, right? The Avata. So if you have the Avata, wouldn't you have that with goggles already? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because sometimes it's hard to tell what comes as like a package and stuff from DJI. So basically, the reason why it would matter, like as far as like the transmitter that you have. Oh, I'm sorry, I just scrolled up here. The DJI RC non-Pro. All right, so you have the DJI RC. This guy. Looks like, I think this is the one that you have. I mean, based on what you're talking about. So, all right, so this one says the compatibility is compatible with these guys. Now, to be honest with you, I don't actually know. I don't know if it's compatible with the air units. Let's investigate. Okay, he says this is the one. Cool. Trooper 1221 says, nice job, keep going. Thanks, Trooper. And welcome on the YouTube side. So where do we're looking for, we need to find the like the manual. Where's the manual? Like, am I just totally missing something? Like, what are we doing? All right. DJI. All right, DJI RC controller manual. It should take us to like the DJI, yeah, the downloads. All right, here we go. DJI product information. Actually, let me just do this, right? This is the fastest way usually. Just DJI RC controller compatible with I guess it would be like just air unit. Let's call it air unit. So basically what I'm trying to figure out here is if your controller will actually work with an FPV unit. DJI drone. Compatibility guide. That one might wait. Set up DJI remote controller. Remote controller 3. Okay, well that's not what we want. All right, so Dom, what I'm getting at here is you have some options if you want to get into FPV drones and you're coming from DJI and you have the Avata. So it sounds like you have the Avata, you have the DJI RC, this guy, the DJI RC with the Avata. So I take it you're using the screen to look through the Avata, which seems kind of weird because the Avata is DJI's FPV drone, which you would typically fly with the goggles. So if you are planning to get the goggles anyway, then what that would mean is you would want to get into FPV drones using DJI's air units or the DJI FPV system. It's for the digital video. And Dom says, I might just be a good idea to find a trade with someone and swap it with that regular controller for the RC I have. Yeah, yeah, that could be an option because like if you still want if you want to keep the Avata and you want to fly the Avata FPV, it would make sense to have the what was it? The controller 3, I think. Let's just look at the Avata. What does that come as a package? Yeah, it comes with the controller 3. So the DJI Avata. So it might make sense to have the get the controller 3 along with the goggles. That's weird that they don't sell it with the normal controller to me, but okay. So they're also kind of showing the new 04 Air unit. So that's kind of what I'm saying is like that all of these things kind of go together, like the DJI goggles. Where'd I go? There we go. The DJI goggles 3. Remote controller 3. The goggles. Is it goggles 3? What is the name for that one? Let's click on this. So they're showing goggles 3. Yes, that's what they call it. The goggles 3. So if you went that route, you would be all set up to go with like your own build for your own sorry, a FPV drone that you build yourself using the DJI FPV system. That's what I'm trying to say. Is this confusing yet? Good. So let me know if that makes sense because hopefully I didn't confuse you more. Dom says, fair enough. So even for a custom setup, you think DJI is a good choice for internals? For a custom setup, you think DJI? So as far as like, so the kind of one of the benefits of what of using the DJI controller, I don't know about the motion controller, but like the controller, whatever they call it, the controller 3. One of the benefits is that will connect to the DJI FPV system, like the 04 Air unit, which there's 2 flavors basically that they have. They have like the lightweight version and like the full size heavyweight version. So basically this way you could use that controller 3 with your FPV drone, and you would not need an extra receiver because the receiver internals are already built into the Air unit. So that would be like a benefit of going with like the DJI route. So because if you don't go the DJI route, like if you don't use the DJI FPV video system, well then you're going to need different goggles and you're going to need a different transmitter. Because I'm pretty sure you can't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you cannot use a different radio protocol with the DJI goggles or remote 3 controller 3. I don't think there's like a little a way of putting a separate like module on there. Yeah. Plus, it's kind of purpose built for the DJI drones. So that's basically how that works. So what I'm kind of getting at here is like you would be able to have compatibility, more crossover compatibility by keeping everything within the DJI ecosystem. Because if you don't, then you're looking at, if you want HD video, you'd be looking at like HD0. And gosh, I think there's another one, but you'd be looking at HD0. And then you would also need to get a different transmitter or controller and a different receiver, like that work together, and then and different goggles. Yeah, probably different goggles, unless no, I don't think the DJI goggles would pick up the other signals. So yeah, so it's kind of like either you kind of stay in the DJI realm and you have that crossover, or if you don't want to go DJI, you kind of have to have like a whole separate setup. Yeah, and so that's kind of what I'm getting at as far as like save the cost savings. Um, but I mean, it's like sort of cost savings. DJI has expensive stuff. It's good stuff, but it's expensive. So if you're like wanting to get into FPV, like freestyle FPV racing, much more dynamic, like risky stuff, risky to the drone as far as that goes, type of flying, then like what I would probably suggest is get an all-in-one FPV kit. So like one option, because like I think you just have more fun, but not everybody wants to go this route because it is an expense. But like what were we looking at? We're looking at like I think it was like the Beta FPV ready to fly kit, some kind of like small drone that uses analog video. Yeah, excuse me, like the Cetus FPV kit. This is a Cetus X Beta Flight. Yeah. So something like this could be an option. Um, as far as if you wanted something that's like fun to fly FPV, and that's a little high, that price. You could probably get, I feel like you could get something else, but again, it's kind of like then you're going down like the analog road and stuff. But otherwise, I would suggest just getting um, so like again, a lot of times like with 3D printers, but especially with drones, people think that they can save money, or it'll be like somehow easier to buy, piece by piece and then put it together themselves. Typically it's not, unless you very specifically want certain pieces, and that's why it makes it like a custom build. But then if you're doing a custom drone build, the price doesn't really matter as much as what you put on there. So as far as cost goes, you might be better off like let's see here, with something that has, I mean, here's some small ones. What's this guy? This is that's analog. You might be better off going with a pre-built drone that has the DJI O4 in it. Like I know you said sub 250, I guess. So this would be like kind of a Whoop style, so a very small drone. But there's, just to give you an idea, this would be like, it would probably make sense to go with something that's pre-built, and if you sticking with the DJI ecosystem, then that way you can just bind it up to your goggles and to your DJI controller 3. So, okay, that was a whole mouthful. Hopefully that was clarifying. I feel like I need to make a flow chart. I need to make like a whole flow chart pyramid tree thing, because it can get confusing. Hey, we got a question from Bass over on YouTube. Says my Runcam Phoenix 2 has very weird colors. It does work with a Caddx ant. Do you know a fix? It does, so it does work with a Caddx ant. My Runcam Phoenix 2. Not sure. Off the top of my head, no, I don't know of a fix for that. Dom says, yes, I'm getting into more tinkering, getting into it more for tinkering and trying to build a super speedy drone. Okay. Yeah, and that's totally cool. It's just, as long as you kind of know what you're getting into and what you want to get out of it, that's the most important thing. What are we talking about? Runcam Phoenix 2. Wow, I have so many tabs. So many tabs. It's impressive. I like to collect them. Runcam Phoenix 2. All right, so we're talking about a camera, right? Let's check that out. And the Cadex. Isn't it the Cadex? Yeah, Ant. No, Ant. Cadex. ANT. What is the ANT? Okay. So we're looking at these two cameras. But what is the question? My RunCam Phoenix 2 has very weird colors. It does work. Boss on YouTube, what is your question? Or what is the help me out here. I'm confused by what you are saying. My RunCam Phoenix 2 has very weird colors. It does work with a Cadex Ant. Do you know a fix? It works with a Cadex Ant? Because the Cadex Ant, this is the Cadex Ant. Because that's what I'm confused about. Because we're talking about two different cameras. So are you saying your drone has weird colors with one camera, but with another camera it's fine? That's what it sounds like. But what are we looking at here? We've got Volt, ground, video, ground menu. Volt, ground, video, ground. No, OSD ground. Ground menu. Are they saying menu for OSD? They might be. I would check the wiring. Check the wiring on that because it looks like the wiring is maybe different. Okay, boss says my drone gives normal video with the Ant, but not with the RunCam. Okay, well, let's see. All right, this is gonna have to be the last question. We're right about out of time. But let's see here. So the Phoenix is good. RunCam bad. I'm sorry, RunCam. That is the RunCam. RunCam bad. Cadex good. What are we looking at here? Give me some specs. Come on. Come on. I think I have this camera. Or I think I had this camera. I think I just gave it away. Okay. Give me specs. Give me specs. There we go. There's some specs. Okay. 1000 TVL. This one's 1200 TVL. I would check the wiring. Pay attention to the wiring diagrams. Does this one have, well, yeah, no, the OSD would be going to the flight controller. I mean, it could just be the settings, it could be like, what was this? It says auto gain, global WDR. What was that? Wide dynamic range. So I'd check the settings, make sure the settings are the same. And check and make sure that they are both on, or that it's on the correct NTSC or PAL settings. NTSC or PAL. Boss says I only use the first tree pins. Yeah, that's fine because those two other pins are going to be for if you have a little the little dongle thing that you connect to it. That's to access the camera settings. That would be like if you weren't hooking it up to a flight controller. So the OSD, the on-screen display, is going to be put on there through the flight controller. And he says my drone came with the RunCam. That's weird. Yeah, so it came with the RunCam, but it's not working. Yeah, that's the best I can come up with. Get into those settings. I'm not sure, you might need to get into those settings by plugging in the dongle. And you know what I'm saying by dongle? Like the joystick control. What does it say? I think it says somewhere. Top left corner of the screen, short display, current control mode. The default is joystick control mode. I can't read what that says. So I'm not sure if you can access the internal camera settings through the Betaflight OSD, which I'm assuming that's what you're using. But that's what I would check. I would check the camera settings, and wait a minute, do they not include the joystick thingy? Don't tell me they don't include the joystick. I would take I'd look into that. Oh, look, more wiring diagrams. That's great. Oh, it's not included. The OSD key press board is not included. But that's weird though, because like it should work. Especially if it came with your drone. That's weird. All right, so camera menu. I'm pretty sure you can access those settings, but how? Can't remember how though for this one. I mean, it does say menu control, cable control. That's crazy that they wouldn't do that. That they wouldn't let you do that though. So anyway, that could change things, as far as like color gain, stuff like that. So, but what you said though was that it has very weird colors. Has very weird colors. So weird colors that could be like actually having to do with the camera settings, or it could be like the transmission of it and how it shows up in your goggles. So definitely check the wiring and make sure the wires are not routed like next to the like battery wires, because that could cause problems in the transmission. As well as through the VTX also. So, boss, I hope that helps over on YouTube, or at least gives you some places to look for some solutions there. We got to call it a day. We're actually, we're quite a bit over time, but yeah. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Hopefully that helped you. We'll be back not tomorrow, but Thursday at 11:11 a.m. Thursday, 11:11 a.m. And come with your questions. Come with a good attitude and come ready to learn and solve your problems. And take care of yourselves. Until then, I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.